Hey everyone and welcome back. If you have been following along, I've already launched my first virtual server with EC2, set up my first cloud storage with S3, created a database with RDS, and built a secure private network with VPC. Today I'm putting all of these essential building blocks together to achieve a major milestone, that is deploying my very own full web application in the cloud. By the end of this video, you will see how all the services you have learned about work in harmony to create a real world functional solution. Just to quickly recap our journey, we have built a solid foundation. You now know what each of these core services does individually. But the real power of AWS comes from how you connect them. Today, my goal is to show you exactly that. I'll be taking a simple application and deploying it to my EC2 instance using my RDS database and my S3 bucket, all securely orchestrated within the VPC I created in the last video. Before I jump into the console, let's visualize what I'm going to build. This is a classic three-tier architecture, a very common way to structure applications. I have my web tier, which is my EC2 instance, sitting in a public subnet so people can access my website. I have my database tier, which is my RDS instance, tucked away safely in a private subnet, completely isolated from the internet. The only way to access it through my EC2 instance. Finally, I will use an S3 bucket to store my images and other static files. My VPC and security group will manage all the connections and acting as a source foundation that makes this all possible. Deploying a full application can sound intimidating, but by breaking it down into these four key steps, you will see how manageable it is. I will start with the network, making sure my security groups are configured correctly. This is the most crucial part. Then I will launch my web server, connect it to my private database, and finally make sure my application can access my static files in S3. This step-by-step process will make it easy to follow along. Alright everyone, welcome to the live demo. As I mentioned, I am starting with a completely empty AWS account. So I will be building our entire application infrastructure from scratch. This is a great way to see how all the pieces come together from the very beginning. I'm logged into the AWS Management Console. Let's start with the network. First, I will go to the VPC service. In the search bar, I will type VPC and click on it. On the VPC dashboard, I will click on Your VPCs and then Create VPCs. I'll choose the VPC and More option for an easy setup. I'll give my VPC a name of my web app VPC. For the IPv4 CIDA block, I will keep the default, that is 10.0.0.0/16. Crucially, for the number of availability zones, I will choose 2. This will automatically create subnets in 2 different availability zones, which is a requirement for our RDS database. I will give my subnets the name web public address, my web my web app public subnet 1A and my web app public subnet 1B. And similarly, my private subnets, my web app private subnet 1A and my web app private subnet 1B later after creation of the VPC. I will leave the net gateway and the VPC endpoint as none to stay within the free tier limits. I will keep the DNS options enabled. I will review everything, and then I'll click on create VPC. This will set up my VPC subnets, route tables, and an internet gateway automatically. Now that the VPC is created, I will need to set up my security group, which are likely my virtual firewalls. On the left-hand navigation pane, I'll click security groups. I'll click create security group. I will call this first one as web server security group and give it a description that is allows web and SSH access. I'll make sure it's associated with my web app VPC. Under inbound rules, I will add two rules. The first is for SSH on port 22. I will select my IP to ensure only I can log in. But for now, I will be using this Cloud Shell from AWS. This is the Cloud Shell as a instead of my local computer. I will be using this. This is just a kind of terminal provided by AWS. You can use this. Okay, this is ready. So to get the IP of this Cloud Shell, there is a command. Let me just copy that command and paste it. Oops, I need to curl this to get the IP. Perfect. This is the IP of this Cloud Shell. So I will copy this IP and just paste it in the security group inbound rule for SSH. So I will be SSHing this web server from Cloud Shell. That's why I'm adding this IP here. The second rule is for HTTP on port 80. And for the source, I will select anywhere. So anyone can visit my website. I will then click create security group. Okay, the security group is now created. I will create a second security group. I will name it as database security group. Its description will be allows database traffic from web server. So web server will be able to access this database. That's why this security group will come into picture. And for inbound rule, I will add one rule for MySQL Aurora that has port 3306, and the source will be the security group that we just created. But before that, we need to select the correct VPC so that our security group automatically populates. Web server security group, and then I'll click create security group. Perfect. My network is now fully configured and secure. Let's move on to the database. In the search bar, I will type RDS. Open the RDS service. On the RDS dashboard, I will go to databases and then click create database. For the creation method, I will choose standard create. For the engine, I will select MySQL, and for the templates, I will select free tier to stay within our free tier limits. I will give it a name my first database. I will set up a master username as admin and the password accordingly. I need to remember this password because this will be required while connecting to the database. In the connectivity section, I will open the additional connectivity configuration. Make sure this VPC is the my web app VPC. For the subnet group, let's keep it create new DB subnet group. Public access no. And the VPC security group should be choose existing and then the database security group. I will leave all other settings as defaults and click create database. This database will take several minutes to create. So while that's happening, I'll set up our storage. I'll search for S3 in the search bar. Click on S3. I will click create bucket. I need to give my bucket a globally unique name. I will choose something like my first app storage 2025. I will select a region close to me for better performance. So my region is Mumbai, which is nearest to me. This is important. I will leave the block all public access enabled for now. I will also scroll down and under object ownership, I will select as ACLs enabled. I will acknowledge the warning and then click create bucket. This is a necessary steps to be able to make individual files public using the ACL method. My bucket is now ready. Now I will upload a simple image file that my website will display. I will open the bucket and click upload. Select my file, a sample image file, and then I will click upload. So the file is uploaded. Now to make this make this image available on my website, I have to make it public. I will click on the file I just uploaded. On the actions menu, I can now select make public using access ACL. Make public using ACL. Okay. So when public read access is enabled and not blocked by public access settings, anyone in the world can access the specified objects. I'll click make public. Okay, so it says the error in the failed to edit table, failed to edit access denied. Okay, so for that, I think we need to update our bucket permissions. Let's edit the block public access. Disable this for now. And let's select this. So we are making the bucket public. Let's go to the bucket. And now open the file, copy the object URL. Let's check whether we can access this. Okay, this is access denied. Let's now go to object actions and make public using ACL now. Let's see if it is working now. Perfect, successfully edited to public access. Let's just refresh this. Okay, the sample image is now accessible. Perfect, so we are done with this S3 part. Great, so my database is now building and my storage is ready. It's time to launch the web server. Let's go to the EC2. In the search bar, I will search for EC2. I will go to instances and then click on launch instance. I will give this a name of my web app server. I will choose the EMI Amazon Linux 2023 and the instance type T3 micro. I will keep it for free tier eligibility. Then I need to select the key pair. This key pair was created in the first video. You can check out that. So I will select the existing key pair, or you can proceed with creating new key pair is as well. But key pair is required. So make sure you select that. In the network settings, I will select my web app VPC. Go to edit, select your web app VPC. I'll choose one of my public subnets. Let's say my web app public subnet 1A. I'll make sure the auto assign public IP is enabled. For the security group, I will select the existing web server security group I created earlier. I will scroll down to the advanced details, and there will be scrolling down, and then there will be a user data parameter. We need to upload a script here, a startup script that I have prepared. The script will automatically install Apache and create a placeholder index.php file for us, and I will explain what's in that script. It installs the web server, sets the permission, and creates our HTML and PHP code, which we will edit in the next step. So let me just copy and paste that script. Okay, so this script has nothing, but it is installing MySQL and then Apache server, and then it is just updating the permissions of the files, and then it is creating a HTML file where it will display my first web app. And also I need to provide the RDS endpoint once the database is ready, the DB username and password and the DB name, and this S3 image URL here once the image that we have already uploaded. Perfect. Let's quickly verify whether our database is ready or not. Great. So the status is available. Let's copy the endpoint and replace it with the host. The username is admin we had set, and the password is password I had set for this demo. The DB name, your DB name, let's quickly verify what is the DB name. We'll go to the configuration of the database. Here we can say the DB name is empty. So what we'll do is we will remove this DB name, and we need to remove this parameter as well since we don't have DB name as such right now. Your S3 image URL here, so I will go to S3. Let's go to S3 service. I will open the bucket that we had created. I will open the file that we had uploaded. I will copy the object URL for this image, and I will paste it in the user data script. Perfect. So user data is also done. I will review all my settings and click launch instance. Now everything is launching, and I will just wait for the EC2 and RDS instances to be in the running state. RDS we have already verified that it is running. I will go to the instances. Let's quickly verify. Okay, this is running. This is quite old. Let's just remove this name. Okay, so this is our EC2 instance that is running now. Perfect. So my instances are now running, and let's grab the necessary information. First, I will go to the RDS dashboard and find my database. Under the connectivity and security tab, I will copy the endpoint address that we have already done. Then the EC2 dashboard, and then I will need to connect to that EC2 instance and update those details that we have already did. If you have not done, you have to connect to this instance and then update those things. We have already did that. Let's just copy the public IP of this EC2 instance, public DNS, and let's just hit it. Let's see. Perfect. So as you can see, This web page is now visible. Hello from EC2 web server. This was in the mentioned in the scripts. This page is being served from an Amazon Linux instance. It checked the database connection. It successfully connected to the RDS database, and it also pulled the image from the S3 bucket. So great. So there you have it, a full stack web application built and deployed from scratch with all the pieces working together securely within your own private cloud. Okay, so before I conclude the demo, I want to take a moment to highlight a crucial concept, how I use security groups to securely connect my services. This is a very common interview question and a critical best practice. As you can see, my web server security group always allows public traffic on the port 80, but my database security group has a rule that only allows traffic from my web server security group. This means that even if someone finds the database address, they can't connect to it unless they are coming from the web server itself. This simple but powerful configuration keeps my data safe and secure. So there you have it. You have now taken all the foundational skills you have learned and used them to deploy a real functioning web application on AWS. This is a massive accomplishment and a huge step forward in your cloud journey. As you can see, the possibilities are endless. In my next video, I'm going to shift gears and explore the world of serverless computing with AWS Lambda, where I can run code without even thinking about the servers. For now, go ahead and try deploying your own simple web app and remember to clean all the resources when you're done. If you like this video, please give it a thumb up and subscribe for more content. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.